You're listening to In the Making, the podcast from the Cream Room. I'm Martin Lumsden, and in this series I talk to artists, writers, producers and performers about how it feels to be doing the thing that they love to do the most. UK country artist Kaity Rae has a fast-developing reputation as one of the best writers and performers on the circuit. I caught up with her in the studio just prior to rehearsals for the launch event for her new EP this time around, and spoke to her about using live streaming on social media.
I tried to do one in Nashville when we were all like chilling in our like place we were staying, because we were just like jamming in the kind of living room bit, and then I was like, oh guys, we should do a live stream on my Facebook, because I was playing one of my songs with my mate Jordan, who's like one of my good friends at uni, and he played on one of my exams, so he knows my songs. We were like playing it, and it was like this like big massive like paned window like out looking out onto this field, and it was like wow nice. And I was like, oh, this would be cool to live stream, try to do it, and then it just like failed.
What failed?
Like the internet just cut out.
Oh, the internet failed.
And then I was like,
Damn you, internet.
It ended up like being like, it ended up just failing, and then my phone froze, and then I was like, and then I was talking to someone about someone else who was being annoying on the trip, and then I looked at my phone, it was still recording, and I was like, oh my god, is this still live streaming? And I've just been like chatting shit about someone. Not that I do that normally, right? But I was like, you know when you like say something about someone, then you're like, oh, but luckily my phone was still just frozen.
Did they hear what I was saying? The whole world heard what I was saying.
Yeah, like it's on my Facebook page, like, no, but it was fine. Anyway.
I've just been eavesdropped by everyone in the world.
Yeah.
I think there's what's it, Periscope as well?
Yeah, my mate Russ does that on Twitter, and he gets loads of views.
Anytime I've kind of tuned into something on Periscope, I end up tuning out. Because like the first 5 minutes of it is just people going, oh, hello, 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 hello.
Yeah.
So they're just saying hello to all the people that are tuning in.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it gets there eventually.
Yeah, but like I feel like people watch it who are like actual fans. So they want to have their shout out.
Yeah. I think I get the point of it.
Yeah.
But I can't get the point of, well, let's put it this way, I can't get the point of it from me.
Yeah, first.
Because I keep thinking, like people have said to me, you should do something like Periscope, and I'm thinking, but to do what?
Yeah, exactly.
So I get it for artists and stuff like that.
Yeah, like I've got quite a few things to like announce tonight.
So you're quite big on, what have you got? You've got quite a few social media things.
Facebook and Twitter are my main ones. But Twitter is just so much better, in my opinion.
What is it about?
Like, people see your tweets more, because you can tweet more. Like, you can tweet like 20 times a day and it won't annoy everyone. Because if you posted 10 times a day on Facebook, people get annoyed.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
But like, and then on Twitter, because people have got more chance of seeing it because it doesn't have that stupid algorithm thing that Facebook does.
Yeah.
So if you tweet, it goes to everyone who follows you's timeline. And then if you are tweeting like every hour, people who follow you are going to see those tweets every day.
Yeah.
And then, but on Facebook, you've got one post a day. And then unless you pay for that post to be put to all your followers, it goes to like 300 people. And I mean, I've got like...
That's if you've got a lot of followers.
Yeah, I've got 1,200 followers on Facebook, and my posts hardly ever reach half of those people on my reach. Like, if I don't pay for it.
Facebook seems more like advertising.
Yeah.
And, advertising's important. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But Twitter seems more like...
fan connection.
Yeah, like a conversation. Well, I'm not trying to sell, that's what they say as well. But I find it really weird, because I remember... I joined Facebook, first of all, in, 2005, 2006, something like that.
Wow.
And it literally was, like, it was great, because it was just kind of friends and family, which was nice.
Yeah.
Whereas now it is all businesses and commercials and adverts, and but I guess that's how they make money, I guess. But you're quite in Snapchat, right?
I did set up an artist Snapchat.
I know nothing about Snapchat, that's why I'm asking.
I tried to set up an artist Snapchat, and then I was like...
I mean, I'm asking because I don't know what it is what I mean. I'm like... You post those and then they disappear, right? Is that...
Yeah, they stay on for a day, and then they go.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's weird, because I'm only just aware of it, and apparently it's got more users than Twitter now.
It's mainly for like young people.
Yeah, I kind of get that, but I can't see how it adapts, because with anything like that, you'll end up with artists and businesses trying to hop onto it.
Yeah.
And it does feel like, I should be doing that because it's there. Some of the people that I know, particularly kind of businesses, I think, what good would it be to a business That's why.
No,
that's
you
what I
could
don't
set up
get.
a studio one. It'll be cool. Like you could like Snapchat bands that are coming to record here, and then get people to add you on it on social media. That would be
Okay.
cool. But like, I tried to set up an artist one, but then like I used my personal one to talk to friends and send other people Snapchats, and it was really annoying having to log out and log back in. And
Yeah.
no one really added me on my artist one because I just don't have that fan demographic that use Snapchat really.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's there. I've got the Kaity Rae username for if I ever want to properly do it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll snap it up now. But so I just clapped on the. No, that's fine. But yeah.
So are you quite aware of who your fan base is then? Because you've got, would you say, 1,200 on Facebook and whatever it is on Twitter. Are you sort of conscious of who you're speaking to?
Yeah, I think so. Like, most people who tweet me are like older.
Yeah.
Or like I have a few younger people who like are tweeting me a lot, but the country folk scene is definitely more mature audience, really.
But what I meant was, are you aware of that being a sort of I'm talking to my fans as a who they are? Because the reason I'm saying that is when I'm kind of posting stuff, I kind of feel like I don't really know who this is going to.
Yeah, I mean...
whereas you seem like you're more aware of who it is that's actually already engaged with you.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely like... I mean, I don't have a massive fan base, so I basically... Anyone who becomes a fan of me, I end up knowing, like, as a person at the moment. So, like, I'll know who they are and I'll know who I'm mainly posting to, like... Just, it's a wide age range, like, mainly older people, but, like, mainly people who are, like... Sorry, I just said, like, so many times. Just fans of up and coming music. Those people who like follow every gig or buy every EP that comes out from someone they like, and they are there from like the very start. Because that's what they like to do. They like to go and find new artists, and they'll be like, I knew them when they were famous. Now they're famous, but obviously that's not the one real reason they go and do it. But like,
no, but it's interesting that you say that, because I think there's when I kind of read things. Media, stuff like that, it sort of suggests that people don't have that level of engagement anymore with an artist. That's the suggestion as to why sales are going down and streaming's a bad thing and all that bit, is because one of the suggestions is people just aren't as invested in the artist anymore, and it's too disposable. But it's interesting that you're saying that's not true.
I think in the pop world, definitely. But I think if you're in a kind of rootsy genre, or even more singer-songwriter than the mainstream kind of pop stuff.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Still got people who want to be there from the start and like really engaged and all that kind of stuff.
So are you aware of people that have kind of followed you from the start?
Yeah. I'm like, obviously, like I've got all my friends, but I'm aware of people who are music fans who have been there from my first EP. Yeah.
Brilliant. So what was the point when you thought, oh, I know, I want to be a singer or a songwriter or a musician, or which came first? What was it? What's the appeal?
So, when I was 3, I wanted to be a paleontologist.
Okay.
So, obviously that
3? 3?
Yeah, 3.
Oh.
I was well into dinosaurs.
3-year-old
So,
paleontologist.
obviously that has no relation to... That was the first job I wanted. And then, when I was like 5 or 6, my mum put me into piano lessons, and when I got a bit older, she put me into cello lessons. So I was like doing all the classical stuff, and I also really, really wanted to be an author. That was like my second job that I really wanted as a kid. I wanted to like
writing novels.
Yeah, like writing like teenage fiction or like kids stories and stuff. So I was like well into my writing, and then when I was about 12, I discovered country music. So then I started learning the guitar, and then I kind of put like the music and the story writing together, and then was like, I want to be a singer-songwriter.
So the country music started quite early then. That's something you specifically remember, country music rather than just music.
No, it was just like, because before I didn't really listen to like mainstream music at all. I listened to whatever my mum had on, or I listened to like classical stuff. That sounds really geeky, but I was not into like that whole pop thing that everyone else, because obviously you don't really go on the internet and look for music when you're 9.
I certainly didn't.
But
the internet? What's that?
But yeah, I just didn't. So all you heard was like what people play at the school disco or like at parties or on the radio, and I didn't like any of that. So I just played my little CDs that I had that were all classical, really. And then when I started, like, getting on social media and going on YouTube and stuff, I, like, discovered Taylor Swift and all those, like, country artists. Like, Taylor Swift, Lady Antebellum were, like, the first people I was, like, obsessed with who were, like, not classical music, basically. But yeah, that's where it all started. And then I was like, I want to do this. So then I nicked one of my dad's guitars and started doing it.
What was it? Do you know what it was about country music that...
Definitely the storytelling.
Uh-huh.
That was definitely it. Like, the lyrics, the storytelling. I'm a massive fan of, like, songcraft. So that was a big selling point for me. Also, all the melodies are really beautiful. And I like organic sounding stuff. I'm not really... I appreciate it, but I'm still not a fan of electronic music. And I never was. Because I think it's because I started with that classical stuff, and I've always really, really appreciated, like, a live sound, an organic sound played by really, really good musicians. So I think that's what country music had, all of that storytelling, great musicians, organic sounds. That's what brought me into it.
Do you associate it? Because obviously country music's massively associated with America.
Yeah.
Is that how you see it, or have you got a different perspective on where it comes from and what's it about?
I think the mainstream country does all come from America at the moment, but I think it's gradually spreading its wings and coming from other places, because I think it doesn't have to come from the south of America, because obviously that's where it mainly comes from, but I think anyone can write country music. It's just a good story and a good song.
I was going to say to you, what is it that makes country music
Yeah.
country music? What is it about it that makes it country?
Yeah, just that, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you had the typical sound, but then there's also, like, that style of writing that all country music has. Like, it's very title-driven, it's got very clever song-crafted lyrics, and it's got great melodies, and that's, I think, what makes a country song, even if the person singing it doesn't have the most country voice or doesn't have the most country sound. It can still be put into that genre because of the way it's been written.
Have you become more focused on country music as an artist yourself?
So I started off kind of being more folk pop. So when I got into Taylor Swift and Lady Antebellum and all that stuff, I discovered, like, the folk world as well. So I was really, really into Laura Marling. That was the first concert I actually went to, was Laura Marling at the Royal Albert Hall. That was great. But I was really into, like, my folk pop sound. And there wasn't anyone really doing country pop that much in the UK when this was 2 years ago when I was 16.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, oh, I kind of want to be country, but I'm going to do folk pop and see where it goes, really. And I mean, I was writing that kind of stuff anyway, but that's where I started writing, really. Yeah.
So do you think then, because here's how I kind of imagine it, in order to be in country music, you need to write that style. Is that how you're saying it? Because I get the impression that there's some songs that you could write that you could then redevelop into a different style. In fact, you've done that really successfully, I think, with some of the songs you've covered, to go, let's reimagine this as if it was a country song.
Yeah, I mean,
but you're not writing any song. You're writing with a kind of country style in mind.
So I'm writing a lot of country songs are very title driven. So you've got the title mentioned, like, straight away, and then every verse, and then also after the chorus, and it's just, and also, how do I explain this? It's just a certain way of writing is very country. Like, it's very crafted, it tells a really good story, all the lyrics are, like, really precise and clear. It's not like folk, where more Laura Marling stuff, where she could have a country sounding guitar, but her lyrics will be very ambiguous and abstract. And it's not, country music is like, this is what the song is about, this is what I'm saying to you, deal with it.
If you don't get it, you haven't been listening.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like, I don't understand what you mean.
Yeah, it's always very obvious what the message of the song is.
What's the plan? Where are you heading?
I've got my final year of a songwriting degree, so I'm starting that in October. So I've got that for a year. So I've kind of got another year to plan what I'm doing. Right. But I mean, I've got new material lined up for whatever happens after the release of the EP. So
I'll say something about the EP as you've mentioned it.
Oh yeah,
Go and do that. Why not?
It was out on Friday the 10th of June, and it's called This Time Around, and the single was Before I Knew. and it's my second EP, and it's more country than my first one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's quite a developed sound from the first EP,
yeah,
isn't it?
I think definitely. I feel like my songwriting has definitely got more refined, mainly because I know that I want to go and do country now, and also I wrote those songs when I was 15, 16, and now I've been in 2 years of a songwriting degree, and I'm now nearly 19, and I feel like that is a crucial time to like be developing your songwriting, and I feel like I've grown so much in those 2 years anyway, like my songwriting has grown with it.
So I interrupted you. So you were saying you've got material for where you want to, you know where you want to go next already.
Yeah,
in terms
I know.
Of songwriting.
I know exactly what songs I'm going to release next. Like,
Okay.
I mean, I might write better ones, you never know.
Yeah.
But I do have plans for a next release, whatever form that might take.
Brilliant. And where do you see? This is your life, right? This is what you see you're doing. So what if you kind of imagine where it's going? What does that mean to you when you say my life is as a writer and as a musician, as an artist? What does that actually mean?
I don't think you could ever really say, to be honest. I think anyone as a musician, you can be somewhere 1 month and then you can be a month on and you can be somewhere completely different. I think things can happen. You can work really, really hard for a long time and then something can happen and then you'll instantly be in a different place to where you were like a month ago. So I don't think you can ever really plan it. But I'm not, to be honest, I really love the idea of like being in Nashville writing for major country stars. Like, I love that idea. Whether I could get a visa or not is another question.
Yeah.
But I really like that idea, like maybe when I'm kind of done doing the artist thing. I mean, I would like to definitely do the artist thing over here for a while, and I'm planning another trip back to Nashville soon. So
that sounds like it's a long-term plan, but not necessarily. So because it's the writing is really important to you. I think.
Yeah.
So as a writer, you're happy to be a writer with other people.
Yeah, I mean,
performing your music. But,
yeah.
But also at the moment, you're very much an artist yourself right now as well.
Yeah, I mean, I went to Nashville about a month and a half ago, and I had a mentoring session with someone at the Nashville Songwriters Association, and he listened to my stuff and he was like, this is all really, really good. Like, you'd definitely be like suited to being a writer, but while you're young, do the artist thing while you can, because your youth isn't going to last forever. And it's really annoying, but it is something that is a selling point to being an artist as being young, like especially at the moment. And he was like, do the artist thing, and then if you absolutely hate the music industry and hate being an artist, come be a songwriter in Nashville. And I was like, yeah, that's the dream.
That sounds like a brilliant plan. So that sounds like that was brilliant. Nashville.
Yeah.
Is that the best thing so far? Or if not, what has been the best thing about being a music artist?
I think Nashville, like, I've wanted to go since I discovered country music. It was like amazing, like landing in Nashville, and I was like, I'm finally here. I've been waiting like 7 years. But yeah, that was really cool. I saw a lot of writers I really admire as well, because we went to a songwriters festival called Tin Pan South, and that was amazing. I saw like people who'd written for Keith Urban, Carrie Underwood, written with Lady Antebellum, written for Beyonce even. So like it was like basically all the world's like best writers all in one place.
Fantastic.
Which is basically Nashville anyway.
That's
But
what
I mean,
Nashville
they brought a few others in from other places. But yeah, I saw a lot of people who, especially, they never come over to England because they're Nashville writers and they don't tour, they don't gig. They've like a few come over for the CMA Songwriter Series, which is on at C2C every year. But it's once a year, and that's like 4 of them. So I got to see 2 gigs every night, each at least with one songwriter I've wanted to see like and meet since I was like 13. So
Must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was so cool. I literally went out to this guy, Dave Barnes. He's he's an artist as well as a writer, but more writing now. He wrote a song for Blake Shelton called God Gave Me You, and that is a really great song. I was used to be a really big fan of him as an artist when I was younger, because he had an album that did pretty well. And he's been writing with a girl called Kelsey Ballerini, who's massive in the US at the moment as well. And they did a song together because he was like, I'd like to invite a special guest up onto the stage, Kelsey Ballerini. And I'm a massive fan of her. And I was like, oh my God, it's 2 of my favourite people in the entire world. And they wrote a song together and now they're singing it on stage in Nashville, and I might cry.
That's cool. So What's been the hardest thing then? What's the most challenging part of?
It's just keeping on working at it, even if you're not seeing like. Obviously, now I'm seeing things pick up for me a lot more because I've got releases going on and promotional stuff and all that jazz. But it's just those months where you're in between. You've finished like a period of like promoting your stuff. You've got a few gigs, but they're not massive gigs, and you're just kind of like working on your material and like working on plans, and like it's just you feel like it's not going anywhere. And I feel like that's the hardest bit, is to like mentally be like keep doing it and don't give up on it. Because something like, I mean, I've spoken to loads of friends and they're like, something will happen one day, but just when that will happen for you is like different from when it happens to someone else.
Yeah. And I think what you sort of alluded to earlier as well, what that looks like as well, could be like you think you know what it's going to be.
Yeah, but you actually have no idea.
Big break's going to be or whatever, but it could be ever whatever.
Yeah, it could literally be like some guy you meet at like the tiniest gig ever turns out to be like from Big Machine, and then but obviously you'd never think that would happen, but that's how it's happened for some people. But then other people, they've done the general thing of going into labels and being like, this is my stuff, here you go, have a listen to this. So it really does, everyone has a different story behind how they've got successful.
The In the Making podcast was produced by me, Martin Lumsden, at the Cream Room recording studio. You can find us at creamroom.co.uk. To find out more information about the In the Making podcast and to subscribe to future episodes, please go to inthemakingpodcast.com.